Canary Wharf there, where they built the financial district in the 80s, before they built the second one in the 2010s. Here's the canal that runs to Camden and Maida Vale, where my last video was from. So let's see. I would imagine that's east and takes you away from town. And let's see. Am I right about the canal? Or does that run to the Thames? I'll have to Google that later. See here, it's like a park, if a park was tiny. A park got 4 trees, 5 meters long. We've not been to one of the best parks in the world really. Hyde Park, Green Park, Regent's Park, St James's Park. There's acres that are really beautiful. But the Victorians hated Hackney, and it's the one place where tube stations weren't built. For the London Overground in the 2000s, there was only a manor house where 3 of its 4 exits are technically in Hackney. It's really not in North East London, it's more North London towards Finsbury Park, and then Hackney was completely off the grid. But they think they need the Olympics to support an area. It's very cavernous, it's very Orwellian, the idea of this huge modern £1 billion place for 80,000 people. If you know West Ham fans, they are not a naturally sunny bunch. Security guard there. Not a policeman, a security guard. Going on Westfield. Jacket. Don't know if I can be bothered to go around the stadium. Should go down. Alright, so there's a separate body of water here. Do they connect? I don't know. I get very confused. I wrote a poem about here, Human Pinball, which mentions the Olympics Media Centre, which I believe are those buildings there. So we'll walk down there and I'll sort of read a bit of the poem. I really miss old football stadiums like Upton Park or see if this is closed off, or I miss Highbury, the Arsenal team, so much. They're not Arsenal anymore to me. No, still passable. The sport and the stadiums are 100 years old, and that held a century of memories. You know, West Ham's team, where 3 of the players won the World Cup. The Arsenal team that won 3 consecutive league titles in the 1930s. These sort of theatres became the Millennium Dome, the O2 Centre, where there used to be the Astoria. As the green shoots of recovery covered up by harsh tomorrows. So we're 5 minutes through. Let's try and make it about 12 minutes long. The way the stadium blocks off views on all sides, just like all these ugly skyscrapers, whatever's around there. It's been marshes, the heart of the real sort of community of London. There's a real area for like the lower middle classes where people would have council flats on ground floors with gardens, with allotments nearby. They'd lived their whole lives. It was all knocked down. They're like, well, we'll give them a paycheck. Give them £20,000 more than the property's worth. Just to have 4 weeks of sport, really. And tell people, you know, this is Britain. Look at all the goals we won by stealing American athletes. Look how England won the Cricket World Cup by playing someone from Jamaica just because he was better than any English bowlers. Look at Ken Peterson. Look at how we spent £1 billion on training athletes and then won all those golds. At a time past the global recession in 2008, look how Britain invested in sport wildly, more than any other country apart from America, and then somehow finished fourth in the medals table. Jesus wept. So Los Angeles right here. I've never been to Los Angeles, but it's this artificial city. It's very carefully constructed. I saw the psychogeographer, which means someone who walks around cities, like walking around motorways or through areas that are just public transport. Ian Sinclair, at this festival I worked for in 2010, he talked a lot about how the plans for the Olympics look like a sort of movie, like a Blade Runner sort of thing. Like, it's not quite human. Like, that's not really a bridge there. That's a sort of like a model bridge in a toy set. It's not sturdy. People can't walk over it more than one or two at a time. It's a sort of fantasy of what do they call them, those old English TV characters? You know, that show where it's like, time goes by when you drive the train. Can't think of it. It's not just what's here, it's more what could have been. What could have been the Olympics? What could have been the country? What could have been saving people from disease? What could have been the NHS? What could have been the welfare state? I never knew death had undone so many. Oh, that's a good dog. That was a good dog we just passed. I'm your little scarlet starlet singing in the garden. Okay. It's really awkward in London at the moment when you need the toilet, because there's no businesses open, so you just end up pissing on trees. Now compare it to the video where I'm walking along that Regent's Park canal. There's London Zoo, there's Regent's Park, there's that old mansion. There's real history and community there, whereas this is... I'll do my next one at Wembley, and then that'll give a bit more sense about why I'm so cynical about these big football stadiums. Oh, unreal city. They called me the Hyacinth Girl. Oh, unreal city. Madam was a clairvoyante, showing me spring and a handful of dust. Winter kept us warm.